Why hello there, welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to be talking about the future of Haikyu Fly High. Now I know from the title and the thumbnail you might be thinking, oh my god, is the game going extinct in like a week? It's nothing that crazy, but we need to talk about the future of this game because there's been a lot of concern in the community, and so I just kind of wanted to talk about how I feel about these things going forward. But like always, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for some more Haikyu Fly High videos. And by the way, I started a new series on the channel in Everton FC 26 career mode. The next episode of that series will be out tomorrow, but if you haven't already and you are a fan of soccer/football, make sure to check it out. So now talking about Haikyu Fly High. So recently there was a video uploaded by Miklik, who is widely regarded as one of the best Haikyu Fly High content creators. He is a fantastic creator, and he usually claims that he has sources from, you know, whatever's the Taiwan server, JP server, whatever the case may be. Maybe he's in contact with the devs, I don't know. But he does make these claims that he has sources within the community, and that's how he gets his information. And whether you like him or not, his predictions and his things that he says has been accurate most of the time. So he created a new video essentially saying that there might not be any rebanners in terms of in between UR banners. He's saying that the rebanners might come during the SP era of the game. So the reason why this concerns me is because I have a strong fan base, especially on TikTok, that always ask me for suggestions. You know, they're free to play players and they're trying to find the best way to build their teams. And I give them a suggestion based off of the timeline that I believe is happening, which is essentially the Taiwan server where you have the UR characters come out, there's some rebanners in between, and then the SP characters come out, and there's also some UR rebanners in between those as well. But in the scenario of no rebanners, we're going to get a lot of UR players coming out back to back to back, and it's going to be impossible for all the free-to-play players to collect the characters that they want. And for somebody like me that makes content and I'm trying to help out people, if I'm not giving them accurate information, that looks bad on me. Now again, everything is always speculation, and I like to always remind people that, hey, when it comes to a potential banner schedule or timeline or whatever you want to call it, it's always subject to change. So his video was based off of the fact that there was a recent news post by the devs saying, hey, we're actually going to let you guys know the next set of select recruits after this one that's going to come out in a day and 7 hours. So that's why people are like, whoa, they were announcing a lot of SSRs pretty soon. Now, yes, there's still some left out, but we're pretty much getting to the end of the SSR selections. So the fact that we're already at this pace, it then sparked Miklik to make that video saying, hey, because they're producing things coming out at such a fast pace, means that, you know, there might be no rebanners because they want to catch up to the JP and the Taiwan server. So part of me wants to believe him in saying, yeah, they are releasing stuff pretty fast, and so that would lead me to believe that they do want to catch up with the other servers. But right now we have the UR Atsumu banner. We know that he works with Osamu Miya, so that's a duo, and that's going to take 2 weeks for the other characters to come out. And then on top of that, they have a trio bond with Kita. So I think they just also wanted to provide as much information to the users saying, hey, if you want to build an Inarizaki team, these are the players that are going to be available to you as soon as possible. But yeah, it is quite strange because we already know the next bunch of select recruits, which is going to be the Fukurodani team members, and then we already know the one after that is going to be the Inarizaki team members. So it's like, why are they giving us this much information so fast? But to me, I think it's just to give the user as much information as possible so that they can build the teams that they want. Now, the next thing that concerns a lot of people is the type of match modes that we have, and I tend to agree. Now, we're at a stage in the game where we're basically doing the same things over and over again. So we have match streak, which resets every 2 weeks, but if you've cleared it once, you'll be able to clear it for the rest of the time, it seems like, because they don't really scale the difficulty level in that. Peak challenge is nice, but it's PvP offline, which I don't really understand. Specialty trial, I mean, once you hit your wall, it's going to be very hard for you to get to the next part. I mean, look at me, for example. My team rating is 125,000. And the team recommendation rating is 159,000. So that's going to take me like 2 months, maybe 3 months to even get anywhere close to this recommended rating. I mean, extreme training is capped at 400 stages. And as you can see, I've cleared the 400th stage. And so we really get to a point where we can't do anything new in the game. I mean, the next chapter is unlocked at level 50 and I'm at 47. I think the highest person in the game is maybe at 48 or 49 right now. So there's really not a whole lot that we can do. But again, I do believe that was by design, but this game has so much left to give in my opinion, because there's just so much more that can be done. Now, a lot of people are asking for online real-time PvP. Now, the thing is, I haven't seen anything like that in the JP and Taiwan server. I haven't done my research though, to be fair, so if there is guys out there like Cycle or somebody else who has videos on actual online PvP, then at least that's something to look forward to. However, that's going to be a pretty long ways away. And if you look at the time limited event, this is the third iteration of this high school battle where you go up against both Karasuno and then whoever the UR Banners high school team is, and then you do 35 matches each, and then you get some rewards, you go to the store, you redeem those rewards. Like we had this for the Ushijima event, we had this for the Kuro event, Oikawa and Bokuto, we took a bit of a break, we got some diversity there, and then now we're back at it again for Atsumu and Osamu Miya. Now actually, I wouldn't be too upset with this if it wasn't for one core thing about this game that grinds my gears so much that we need to talk about, and there needs to be a change. Otherwise, people are gonna stop playing this game very, very quickly. So here I'm showing some bit of gameplay that I just recorded, but there's a core mechanic, a core feature in this game that is so frustrating. So I'm gonna play 2 clips here. So first we have the opposing team scoring on me. So I'm gonna click play, and what's gonna happen here is the other team is gonna score on me, but it's only because, as you can see, it's a normal set, right? We have the normal, perfect, bad, and then we also have the numbers attached to it, right? So we have a bad receive here, a perfect set, right, from Nishinoya, and then it's gonna go to Tanaka, and he scores because it's perfect and bad. Now I am gonna pause it and show the actual like screen grab of it. So as you can see from the screen grab here, it says 11,000 for Tanaka, and then for the block it was at 3,000, right? So this makes sense, right? He has a stronger attack, right? His player has a stronger power attack than my guy has block, plus all the memories and potentials and things like that that are probably added on, right? So this makes sense. So let's move forward here, and we're gonna get to a play where I get blocked. And so I'm gonna spike it with Ushijima, who is by and far the best player on the court, but I'm not gonna get the point, and I just want to show you guys how it kind of transpired here. So they receive it here, right? So they send it back, and then as you can see, because the set is normal, I go to Ushijima for the spike. It's a bad set. He hits it at 30k. I'll get the screen grab, but he hits it at 30k, but because it was bad, I lose the point, which makes zero sense to me. Like, you mean to tell me as a team builder, I'm sure a lot of you experience this as well, but you mean to tell me as a team builder who invests XP, potential essence, I put XP into memories, I've potentially got dupes, even though I don't in this scenario, but there's other people out there who have dupes, and I hit a spike with 30.4 thousand rating, they get a block with 3,800 rating, but because it was perfect, they get the point. So what this means at the end of the day is that if you're building your team and you're investing your resources, you get the team bond that you want, you get the duo bonds, whatever, you do a combo attack with somebody. If the play isn't perfect or normal, you won't get the point, which makes zero sense because there's a rating associated with everything. Now, if they made it abundantly clear that perfect is a times 10 multiplier, that puts their block at 38,000, sorry, and it puts my attack, I guess you can say, in the opposite direction, and it's at 3,000, that would make sense, but it's not saying that there, it's not stated that anywhere in the game. And even if that was the case, times 10 multipliers, that is way too much. That is such an unbalanced thing that they have going in this match simulation right now that needs to be fixed. And it's not like the calculation is done with the bad or normal or perfect play, because there's no way that they got a perfect block and their rating is 3,800. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. And because this is such a core fundamental part of the game, it makes the rest of the game modes feel fake, if that makes sense. Because why am I out here, you know, again, putting so much into my players and my team, when at the end of the day, it's really the team rating that determines the outcomes of these games. Like, my team rating, let's say for example, is 90,000. I'm going up against an opponent that is 95,000. I'm either going to win that game 5-4 or I'm going to lose that game 5-4. But if my team rating is 90,000 and I go up against somebody who's 105,000, if I'm going to win that game, it's going to be 5-4, or if I'm going to lose that game, it's going to be 5-4. Like, there's no difference. Like, if my team rating is 90,000 and I'm going against somebody who's 100,000, and I have an Ushijima who's like 30,000, for example, in his rating, and everybody else is hovering around, you know, 18 to 22 or whatever. If I feed the ball to Ushijima enough times, I should be able to force my way to victory, because he is that much better than the rest of the pack. But this screenshot, I have a freaking practice Hinata who got a perfect block on Ushijima, who got a bad spike, and he got the point because of it. So what needs to be done moving forward? I know you can't take this mechanic out of the game in terms of perfect, bad, or normal, because there's too many different variables, there's too many skills that rely on it. That's fine, but make it so that the points, the rating, is what determines the outcome of the rally. And then use the bad, normal, perfect plays as a multiplier to those ratings. Because in that case, you'll get a much more realistic feel to the game. And then when you're going up against other people in peak challenges, it'll actually make sense why the outcomes of games might be a little bit one-sided, because somebody might have formed a team that has duo bonds and they have a team bond. And then on top of that, they might have skill res 2, which does something with perfect plays that then boosts your rating up to have a higher rating than whatever you have on your team. And then you can say, okay, he's built a better team than me. Like, imagine telling the free-to-play player that you've been grinding so much to get somebody to skill res 2 that you got like 3 dupes of a player, you used your vouchers to get another skill upgrade to get your skill res up, and at the end of the day, because it says bad on the screen, what you did, all that time you did to grind to get to that stage, it means nothing. I don't know. I hope this makes sense to some people out there, but for me, I feel like that it just doesn't make sense to me. Why is this screen grab right here? Why is this a thing? I mean, at the end of the day, is this a perfect game? Of course it isn't. No game is perfect. But there is so much here that is left to be desired, and I feel like the devs need to do a better job in terms of improving the overall experience, because the frustrations of the community is starting to come out. There's too much ambiguity out there, and it's just not enjoyable at the moment. And when it comes to making new game modes, like the memory game, for example, fantastic in terms of rewards. Like, the rewards for the memory game was great, especially the solo ones. And then online, it says, hey, we have the functionality to make an online PvP game mode, so let's just import that into the actual, you know, game with our teams, and we can make something happen. Because right now, I just feel like there's a lot of frustration coming out in the community, especially with the potential of no UR Re-banners. So that is causing a lot of worry, because then you won't be able to save as much. And yeah, people just want to play the game with their favorite characters. But if they collect their favorite characters, and when they play the game, they have an unenjoyable experience, it's like, what's the point? Oh, okay. I feel better. I feel a lot lighter in the chest today. So yeah, that is going to be it for this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. Peace.